What's up, everybody? It's Sam with Rowdy Alternative, and we're here with the Reed brothers. How we doing, guys?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Great.
I'm doing good, hanging in there. We've been getting some nasty weather where I'm from, around Cincinnati, but this is what's occupying my time, I guess. Yeah. So I guess just so we know what you guys are up to, what have you guys been up to? I know the year just kicked off. You're probably about ready to get back on the road if you aren't already. So just let me know what you guys are doing right now.
We've been kind of gearing up, finishing up some studio stuff we're working on. Our first show of the year is actually this Friday at Green Hall here in New Braunfels. So get it going.
Hell yeah. Have you guys played Green Hall before?
Yeah, we've played there quite a bit,
Yeah,
actually.
quite a bit. Yeah, we've been playing there a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I always hear that's one of like the coveted places out in Texas to play. I hear people love playing there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a staple. It's one of those bucket list venues that we're glad that we get to frequent and play. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on, right on. So I guess, guys, before we go any further, we could back it up a bit so people can get to know you guys and how you guys came to be. So if you guys want to kind of explain how you guys, obviously your brothers, so explain how you got into music and how the group formed and the whole story behind that.
So really, it started with Keegan. He's my older brother. So I was going into high school when he was coming out of high school, and he got in a band and was going. And I used to, being the younger brother, I'd go support and always wish that was me up there playing. And by the time I got out of high school, I started playing bass in a band and got to do some shows with his band, which was cool. And then time led on, bands ended, and it finally came around to, because we were both bass players actually.
Yeah.
And it finally came around to, he started his Keegan Reed band and I had the Kyle Reed band. And then he went on to play, picked up a few gigs playing bass again with some other people. And then time.
It was just timing, really.
Yeah.
We always talked about it for a long time. I mean, like he said, I played bass for a lot of people. He played for other people, and we would jam at the house, and it never really evolved until I quit music and I left and went and took a job to pay off all my student loans and debt and everything. And I was tired of people calling me all the time. And and I was out there and I'd paid off all my debt and I was finally debt free, I guess you can say at the moment. And Kent Finley from Cheatham Street Warehouse had posted a video of Kyle doing a song that he had written. And I watched that and I was sitting on a location and I was like, man, I guess it's time to go home and start a band with my brother. And I came home at the time we were playing it was Pardo and Reed at the time.
Yeah.
And then it evolved into the Reed brothers and we've been doing that. This is our 10 year, I believe, right? This year?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I want to say we're hitting 10 years this year. So
wow. Congratulations. That's exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how would you describe what was going on, I guess, when you both first started getting into music and like playing, like actually getting into playing it and like performing and stuff? Like what was really popping in the scene at the time? Like what artists were really popular like in the Texas area?
So coming up in it, I mean, I watched Randy Rogers play for 20 people one night. Then a couple weeks later, he was selling it out. Yeah. So, I mean, it was Randy Rogers, Cross Canadian Ragweed.
Okay.
It was, those guys were on the rise when we really first started.
We were, I mean, I always tell people we're lucky to live where we do in the New Braunfels, Comal County area. I don't know how to describe it. It's just, there's more songwriters per square mile in this area than I think there is anywhere in the world or something. I don't know. It's wild. There was a venue called Sanger Hall back in the day, and we'd go to Back Porch Wednesdays, which you're talking about. You'd watch Randy play for 30 people on a Wednesday night, 20 people. But Cody Canada would show up. Jason Bolin would show up. Stoney would show up. There was all these people that just lived in the area at the time. and we were just on timing, man. It is we were watching them, and occasionally we get to sit in on their sets, and they were coming up too. They hadn't quite gotten reached the level they are now. So, but it's that's who was really playing a lot, and that's who we were, following and playing with occasionally when we could, opening shows and whatnot. So
right on. Yeah, because it's always interesting when you like the Texas artists, and of course throw Red Dirt in there too, like the Oklahoma guys. Like I feel like it always is like a certain place in time with each class of each artist that comes out, and that really, I guess, it usually leads to the whichever artist is coming out next, their inspiration draws from them, and it creates like a unique sound. And when I first listened to you guys, man, like it seriously is unique. You could say that to any artist just to, blow smoke up their ass, but like you guys, like actually, like for real, I haven't heard really anything like it. It's like a cool mix of like, of course you have like the country, shit, but it's also soul, gospel almost. Like it's a weird mix that like it's hard to explain really what it sounds like. And then a place like Texas, like if we talk about the current state of it, like it's a lot of like the rock centric stuff, right? So you got like guys like Coe and all them, which is great. But I feel like it could be very easy for artists for it to oversaturate, and an artist could be great, but just because he sounds like a lot of the other musicians out there, he could get passed over and doesn't really stand out, I feel like, which sucks because it could be great. But what do you guys do to kind of stand out or like kind of pave your own way per se?
I feel like it's just pull from all our influences and really just do what we want to do. Not try and fit a mold, not try and do something just because it's popular. We really just enjoy playing, so we do what we want to do.
Ultimately, I think we love songwriting, and everything we do is kind of for the song of that song in that moment, and that's kind of why we can go from like a country song over here, and then we have something that sounds more like an old 70s rockin' jam. And I don't know, it's just we don't try to fit a niche necessarily, because we do want to sound like ourselves. And we just try to let it just do what it
just flow. Just let it flow.
Yeah, so, for sure. And I think that's the great thing about like the Texas music scene, is because you can't put a label on it. Like you could like genres, like they're all labels. And I think nowadays that don't really matter. Like, you could play, you have like, if you look at this past year, you had like, was it Beyonce on the country charts and shit like that. And it's like, whether it's good or bad, that's up to you. But like, I feel like with Texas, especially, it's like, you could stand out and create your own sound, and then you'll get people who want to sound like that. And it's a really cool thing, I feel like. So how would you guys, if you had to describe it, how would you describe your sound or your style?
Oh man, that's
I know that's a hard question.
$1 question.
Yeah.
When I get asked that, most of the time my answer is plain and simple. It's like just original music. There's no boundaries. We pull from all sorts of influences from many different genres. So
we just like good music.
Yeah. Which original music.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. That does describe it well. Cause like I said, when I listen to your guys' stuff, it's like, I haven't heard anything like that. Like it's hard to describe.
That's cool.
And, so like going back a bit, when you guys say you're like, at your songwriters first. So when it comes to the writing process, is that how you usually start out? Like with your process, it's like get some lyrics down, or what's your guys' is like, because there's two of you. So like, do you guys bounce it off each other, or one of you take the reins and the other does? How does that usually work out?
I mean, a lot of times we write kind of by ourselves. We do write together, but as far as like the process, I have no real process. So it can start out with lyrics. It could start out with the music. Either way, I'm going to try and complete something and finish a song. And then most of the time I'll get halfway through something and do a little phone recording and send it to Keegan and be like, what do you think? You know? And then kind of bounce off each other there. And then there are times where we get together and write together.
Yeah, I got you. And something that I've always wondered, just I guess me not living in Texas and also not living in Nashville, at least from my point of view, I feel like if you would compare the two, um, I feel like there's a lot more like just solely songwriters in Nashville than there is in Texas. When in Texas, it's songwriters and they have their own group. They're singers and songwriters. Like they're all kind of the complete package. Is that true at all?
That's pretty spot on. I mean, like Keegan said, we have so many that are in the area writing songs, and they all can sing their songs and deliver it live too.
Yeah.
You know, granted, some of them do sell their songs and have other people play them, but they're still out doing it themselves.
Have you guys ever had like another artist cut one of your songs or something like that?
Not on a big scale.
Yeah, nothing major, but but yeah,
like
I've had
a bunch of co-writing, I guess.
Yeah, co-writing. I mean, we've had some buddies record a couple songs and do stuff like that, but we haven't hit any big mailbox checks yet.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't have a Happy Gilmore check yet. That's the one
Yeah.
I'm waiting on.
I need that giant check.
Yeah, for sure. Because like songwriting just intrigues me because like it sounds like, and then I'm not talking shit on Nashville. Like that's where Rage Rowdy's from. I don't want to do that, but I feel like in Nashville it's more of like a machine. Like it's like it seems like a lot of pressure. Like you got to get some songs wrote and like or written, and then it's like I don't know. It just seems more stressful than when in Texas. I feel like it's more like we're gonna write it for us. We're gonna and like if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's I don't know. I don't know if that's just me rambling, but that's just kind of my point of view of it.
I mean, it's pretty spot on. I mean, yeah, we write for us. You know, if you like it, cool.
Yeah,
I mean, cool.
I can name a bunch of great writers out of Nashville that I think are amazing performers, songwriters, singers, all that on their own. But I think the industry being there and the machine as it is, it's kind of just you kind of fall into it when you're living in that area, because you have the publishing houses and everybody just I don't know, you're in it in Nashville, so that's kind of that style just keeps carrying on of that song, the songwriting groups and
have you guys ever like maybe not now but like progressing through your career and stuff as a group, like have you ever had that whole like we got to get to Nashville kind of thought or no?
I mean, not the we got to go to Nashville, but like, hey, let's go play in Nashville and then come back home.
We just want to play everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, that's the name of the game. So
get it out there.
Yeah. So who do you guys record with? Like work with any producers or like where do you record? How do you guys do that?
Right now we self-produce right now.
Oh, nice.
We've been recording at a studio in San Antonio called Cibolo Studios with the engineer Landis Chisenhall, and he's amazing, and we get to record on some awesome gear, like dream gear, and that's, like a vintage SSL board that was used for like Christopher Cross albums and
nice.
Just some just cool stuff that I mean I guess only us nerds are really into, but
we nerd out on all the gear and
I mean you're working it looks like you're in a guitar shop right now, so I mean there you go.
Yep, we are.
That's funny you say Christopher Cross because I kind of now that I think about it when I listen back to some of your stuff it has kind of that vibe like
that's cool.
The instrumental part. It's kind of funny you mentioned that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
Yeah, what is that like yacht rock? You ever heard of that whole thing?
Yeah,
yeah, fucking love it.
Me too.
But let's talk about your last EP that came out. I think it was in December. I think.
Oh yeah, we released a single.
We had two singles.
I'm sorry, single. Yeah,
so, the 9th or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess is there any like themes or stories behind it, or like got any like cool
actually those two songs we started recording them and then COVID happened.
Oh wow!
In the middle of the process, and we were working with a producer named Danny Jones and David Integer, and it was just a cool process because Danny is one of those guys that he worked with some of the giants in the recording world, and he got to be mentored by some greats. And it was just, a fun experience to work with him and let him take the reins.
It was the first time we'd gone in the studio with just Keegan and I.
Yeah.
We didn't have the band with us. We let Danny take the reins and put together who else was playing on it, and we got to work with some great guys and have some cool extra musicians on there. And I don't know, it was fun releasing the reins and not going in there with a clear head and just listening to him telling us kind of where to go with it and take it and run,
Yeah. Was that hard to kind of overcome then, like at first, like to let go of the reins and kind of let other people get involved?
There were very stressful moments, but I think getting through it was a good learning experience. And it was hard, but it was fun.
It was fun to hear someone else's perspective of us.
Yeah.
We'd never really had like a bird's eye view of what do we sound like, or,
Yeah.
you can hear yourself back on a board tape or whatever, but it was just cool to see what happened. And we had a good time doing it. And the timing of that one with COVID happening, everything got really stretched out, and it would have been cool to do some more songs or whatever, but those are the two that we got done, and we're like, hey, we'll put them out and just keep going. So
we released those two after the two most recently recorded ones that we released the past year.
Right.
So, and those we did with the band
at Cibolo.
Yeah.
Right. So when you get in the studio with like musicians, like with the guys that aren't in the band, is that kind of hard to gel at first, or how does that usually work out?
I was excited to hear where it went.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was a learning experience and really cool to get other points of view on our songs.
Yeah.
And kind of hear what other people hear when we give them just a raw format.
Yeah, and going back, you mentioned COVID, and I always find it's pretty interesting with each musician I talk to about that whole period. Of course, obviously, COVID was not a fun time, but no. I hear like some guy, like you can't play shows and everything, but I hear a lot of times that when it comes to like the creative part of it and like sitting there and like creating music, and like that whole aspect of it, like that's where they really like, I don't know, flourished is a good word for it, but they really like, got some really good material out of being like, maybe they were like locked at home and like they were just like, spitting out some really cool shit. Is that kind of the case with you guys, or was it just like miserable all around?
Well, it was you kind of had no choice but to get in tune with yourself during that time, So sitting there, what are we going to do as
everybody had
artists?
To change gears and start, navigating everything differently after that. Because I feel like the whole world changed, but especially the music world, it was like someone took a tree of musicians and just started shaking it. And no one knew what to do. No one knew what was going to happen, and neither did we. We just kind of kept doing what we were doing and kept trying to.
Live streamings became very, very popular.
Yeah.
That
was weird for us to play in front of a computer, and then we finish the song and we're like,
don't hear anybody clapping.
What do I do?
Now it's the norm. Like you see it all the time.
I know. Now everybody does it.
They want material, and they want you to put out stuff every day.
I know. Oh man, we could talk about that too, because like
it's a full-time job.
Yeah, like as a music fan, like it's the first thing, someone could drop an album and then the next day they're like, we want more. And and obviously now, like nowadays, it's like a single driven industry, right? Like a lot of artists are doing singles, and and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm kind of ignorant on this too, but I think like singles are like better to do when it comes to like streams and stuff like that than an album, right?
Yeah. It's easier to just put one out time. You can constantly put stuff out.
Right.
More affordable too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
for sure.
That's a key factor for a lot of us.
Yeah. And
but as a music fan myself, I love albums.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I like hearing the story, trying to see where someone's at.
Press play and let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame that that's kind of a, that's not really the popular thing anymore. It's like vinyl, for instance, like that's blowing up again, and like with those you have to listen through. I mean, yeah, you could pick up the
Yeah.
needle and put it wherever, but like you got
But
to
who's
listen
gonna
to
do
that
that?
shit. Yeah, who's gonna do that? But that I'm hoping that makes a comeback. I think I know. Like I'm a big like concept album guy. I love weird shit like that, and it's like
Me
stuff you
too.
have to listen through,
Yeah,
and I'm hoping that comes back. I don't know.
I think it will. I think with the accessibility of recording, especially for everybody now, because it's easier now to have a home set up. It's
Mhm.
easier now to put it out there to the world. So I feel like concept albums and full length albums will make a comeback, but the singles will never stop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, so it's
yeah,
like put out some singles while you're making the concept album,
right.
and why not put out just as much music as we can? That's kind
Yeah,
of where we're at with it.
for sure. And if that's what's working, it's like no one could really fault you on that. That's just how the industry is nowadays, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And I kind of wanted to ask you something about the you talked about like the live streaming during COVID and stuff and doing all that. Obviously, uh TikTok and social media and all that is a huge part of everything now, especially music. And
Oh yeah.
you have guys and gals like blowing up on TikTok alone, stuff like that. And you guys saying like you were, going to like Jason Boland and Cody Canada and like seeing them. It's obvious you guys have been around for a bit. So you've seen the evolution into that, right?
We
Oh
aged
yeah.
ourselves a little bit.
well, I just mean like you were able to like witness how like it went from maybe like CDs to Spotify to
Yeah.
the whole thing. How have you guys like been able? Were you able to like adapt to that pretty easily to like where we are now with the socials and all that? Because I know a lot of people like they like to say that they have, but they really honestly hate it.
I drug my feet.
Yeah.
I won't deny it.
I still drag my feet on it. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Uh it's not it doesn't it feels weird, like to just constantly want to put myself on a camera
Yeah.
and put it out there all the time. It's hard. It's hard for me. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think going into it, no, I haven't really adapted well, but I'm trying.
I mean, we used to load a
Yeah.
van full of our friends and take handbills that we'd have printed, and we'd go to sorority houses and fraternity houses and go to all the
college
campuses and
pass out handouts.
yeah, just other concerts and hand out handbills, and
Yeah.
that was how you did it back then. And
I know. Hell, if you think
it was a
about
big
it,
change.
yeah. But I mean, if you think about it, if you like go out there tomorrow and start doing that, like they'd probably be like, "Oh, cool, something different," because
Yeah.
they're so used to the new shit. So I don't
Yeah.
know. It just it always
never
swings
know.
back and forth. It always comes back.
Let's bring it back.
Yeah, right, trying.
Yeah, but so and that's funny too because I'm thinking of all these guys who doing the. I'm sure you guys know Mitchell Ferguson,
Yep.
right? And I think he like I don't know if it's just him being like a genius or something, but he's like has like hundreds of thousands of like fans on just his like TikToks alone, not
Oh,
knowing
man.
that he's like an incredible musician either. It's
Yeah.
kind of wild. It's wild to me.
And then especially with the whole Oliver Anthony thing that he did.
Oh yeah,
it just blew up.
I know. It's crazy. But so what about so I haven't seen you guys live yet, unfortunately, but I've seen like videos and stuff, and I've heard really good things. And I think a live show, in my opinion, is what makes new fans the easiest, and
Yeah.
it's what makes them want to keep coming back, I think. And I don't know if you guys agree with that or not, but how would you describe your guys' live show?
Ooh, that's a good
The
question.
band we have right now, we have our harmonies. I love the group we have right now, and we have Kay Phillips. He's another songwriter playing keys with us, and Nate Rodriguez on the drums, and he's another singer songwriter, and then Jordan Pena on bass, also a singer
Little
songwriter.
Ricky.
Yeah, Little Ricky.
It's a fun group because I don't know, we've just been having a lot of fun playing music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the live show is is very real, you know,
Mhm.
because we're all in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all in it to win it every time we go out and play any note. So
Yeah.
it's I think the energy's there, and I feel like you said, that's where we captivate and keep them coming back, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And I was very stoked when I learned that Ricky was a part of your guys' group, because I met him when he was with Austin, and then he left the group, and then he popped up with you guys. So I was pretty stoked. And so, like, did you? So you work with him there, or like how'd that all work out?
Well, it's kind of funny because Austin had called me. So before Ricky was with Austin called me, asked me if I could fill in and play bass on a couple gigs.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, actually I have some shows, but I have a guy here that can do it. And then, you know, the rest is history.
Yeah.
You know, Ricky joins the band, and he becomes rock star #1. So,
That's
but yeah,
funny.
he works at the guitar store with me, and yeah, I mean, he's a
That's
good
funny.
dude, and he's a great bass player.
Yeah,
And a good,
he's good hang for sure.
oh,
That's
for
for sure.
sure.
Yeah, but small world, man. So I guess since it's January, just kicked off 2025. Do you guys have any? This is kind of a broad question, but like, do you have any sort of like goals, whether it's short term, long term for the year? Anything that comes to mind for the group?
I think you know, #1 goal is to continue doing, obviously, but put out more music, and you know, get out more and play more.
Yeah.
So
Play more,
Mm-hmm.
get out there.
travel some more again, you know, see the country.
Right on. Yeah, and like I feel like touring, it's kind of obvious nowadays, but I think touring, like, isn't that like the #1 thing when it comes to being in a band and like wanting to really make a career out of it? Like, you have to tour.
Yep. Tour and
And
having good merch.
yeah, good merch too. Yeah. That is a key to it for sure. But so I guess what do you guys got coming up with shows? We got any? This comes out, I think, at the very end of the month. So Green Hall would have already happened, but like, what else
Yeah.
do you guys got coming up?
March 11th. Is that what it's called? I think, yeah, March 11th. We're at the Houston Rodeo,
Ooh, nice.
Houston, Texas. We're
Mhm.
playing the Hideout.
Yep.
Yeah, the Hideout.
Houston Rodeo,
Hideout
and then
stage.
also, you know, this is coming out the end of the month, but
Mhm.
February we're going to a Dream Studio.
Oh yeah,
to record. We're going to Sonic Ranch in El Paso, Texas.
Hell yeah.
To record some music, and that's like bucket list for me. You know, I've always, you know, seen a lot of other people record there, big artists record there, and always wanted to go there. And now we're getting a chance to go over there and do some stuff. So that'll be good. And then getting back up in Midwest, you know, trying to travel, you know.
Yeah, for sure. So Sonic Ranch, like, I've only ever heard of it. Like, it's clearly like a big deal, but like, what makes it so special? Because I honestly don't know.
Honestly, I mean, just from like, if you had not heard of it and you went and looked up Sonic Ranch Studio and went to their website and just looked at pictures,
yeah,
it's just a gorgeous studio.
it's
Okay.
a very
you know, and then the fact that so many great artists have recorded there gives it that bigger vibe.
Mhm.
And
it's a package deal too.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
you go in,
you stay there, you eat there, you record, and
they
Oh,
house
nice.
you, they feed you. It's
800 miles away from where we are in Texas already.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's like a little vacation almost.
Yeah,
But you have to work.
Yeah, but it's fun work.
Fun work.
Yeah, it's the fun kind. But and I guess before we go, guys, I hate to be the guy we just talked about, the fan who's like, what else you guys got coming out? But if you have anything in the pipe ready to go, or like anything upcoming, any kind of music,
Actually, I'm excited about a song we just cut. We cut a Keith Gattis tune
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
called "Don't Lie,"
Mhm.
and
Yeah, we don't have a date set for it yet,
Not yet.
but we have several in the hole that we're
Yeah,
ready
we
to
do.
put out. But that one I'm really excited to do, especially since we recently lost Keith Gattis, and he's just one of my heroes. And then recording that song is just, there was so many emotions that went into it, because it's one of my all-time favorite songs, and we've been playing it live for so long that we were like, yeah, we have to record this and put it out. So that one coming out, and then a bunch of other originals, and then a lot of new original stuff. Then whatever we put down at Sonic Ranch, like, I don't know, we're gonna release a bunch of music this year.
That's our goal mainly, is to get music out there. We just want to get it out, keep playing. So
yeah, sounds like you guys got a big year coming up. I can't wait to see what happens, y'all. That's awesome.
But we need to get up in your region.
Yeah, come on up. Yeah, I'd love it. We need more Texas guys up here, man. It's very few and far in between, but I live in a really weird, but it's like, who's going to come to fucking Ohio? Like, you know what I mean?
We're down.
Yeah, come on up.
I've landed there before.
Yeah, that's usually what happens when you land and then take off again. But guys, it was good talking to you. One more thing, if you guys have any plugs, like website, socials, anything like that, the floor is yours.
Man, ReedBrothersMusic.com, at the Reed Brothers Instagram. If you're searching for us on streaming platforms, there's no we took away it's just Reed Brothers on all your streaming platforms. Just give us a follow, hang out with us. Come on.
Yeah, hell yeah. You guys make sure to do that. Also, look at Google. Yeah, Google Raise Rowdy Alternative. You'll find us. We're everywhere. The socials, website, you'll find us. So, Kyle, Keegan, thanks for hopping on. This was a blast. It was good talking to you guys finally.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Sam.
I've been a fan for a long time. Glad we could do this.
Absolutely. Let's do it again.
Thank you very much.
Hell yeah. So, everyone, thanks for listening. We'll see y'all next time.